I come to Ajoy Kumar. Therefore, Ajoy Kumar, look at what's happening with Rythu Bandhu. You are saying you will raise Rythu Bandhu to 15,000. Now it is 10,000 in 2 installments of 5,000. What is Congress saying? We'll make it 15,000. We'll give loan waivers. This is competition. Today, because EC has stepped in, you are targeting the BRS. How are you different? You're only going to do it if you win the elections. All of you are trying to bribe the voters. That's the reality.
So let me disabuse you of certain misbeliefs, even Mr. Jayaprakash Narayan on some issues. That 10 lakh crores of loans, 10 lakh crores in the past 9 years of corporates have been waived off. Nobody seems to have a TV debate on those issues. 1.5 lakh crores of tax was foregone. So the question again is, whether you look at 10 lakh crores, my friend, and I have a different view, like Karnataka free bus ride. 100 crore trips were taken by women. 100 crores. And the revenue of the KSRTC has increased. My question to you is, what does a poor family do when they have the 5,000 rupees additional? They spend it on children's education. And Anil was telling about the economy growing. The fact is that the UPA average growth was 8.5%, but we shouldn't get into a debate like that. 25 crores went out of poverty. But the important part is, if 80 crore people need ration to survive, then that's a very strange economic growth. But the most important part is that the state governments have to find a way out.
How are you finding a way out if you are blaming the TRS government for the Rythu Bandhu scheme leading to bankruptcy of the exchequer, but you are saying I will increase the amount under Rythu Bandhu? Why not accept Rythu Bandhu is actually a good scheme, except that it is helping the farmers?
No, one sec. Nobody in Congress has said Rythu Bandhu. I don't know where you got this misconception that we said it is bankrupting. So don't please disabuse yourself again of that wrong fact. We never said the Rythu Bandhu.
You have said that KCR's government is bankrupting the exchequer.
One sec. So, yeah, now let's come to that. Kaleshwaram, 1.5 lakh crores. So we said that Telangana was a zero debt state. It has got 5,30,000 crore debt on its head because of misgovernance. Am I wrong in that? The facts are correct. The issue is, one sec, sir, let me complete. I don't interrupt, sir. My 5 lakh, when Telangana was formed, it had zero debt, Rajdeep. It's got 5,30,000. They have not paid 52,000 crores of electricity bill. They have not paid 52. If somebody said 60,000, I need to check that number. But last I remember, 52,000 crore of electricity bill was pending. Is that not making the state bankrupt? Definitely. And it's not Rythu Bandhu which is troubling them. It is the sheer incompetence which is troubling them, or corruption is troubling them.
Okay, let me just bring in Jayaprakash Narayan to conclude this. Jayaprakash Narayan, as you said, you're worried about the impact, the financial drain this competition is having over various schemes. We moved from the role of the EC to the financial implications of these various schemes. Should we therefore make a distinction between benefits that will actually improve the lot of people, like Rythu Bandhu, possibly with farmers, and should we look at free mobiles and free scooties that are being offered as examples, or color TV, as you mentioned, as clear bribes?
Rajdeep, you're absolutely right. In a democracy as poor as India, it's impossible not to have short-term welfare measures. Even rich countries do that. You can't sustain democracy, you can't bring society together unless there is some kind of mitigation of poverty. But in what form and to what extent? These are two central questions. Take loan waiver as an example. All my life I worked in the farm sector. Everybody in Telugu states and some southern states, they all know about my credentials. But loan waiver is a terrible way of doing it. 70% of the loans of farmers are not in the organized sector. They're informal loans. So only 30%. And among them, those who repay, they don't get anything. That means you're basically saying if you repay, you're a useless fellow. You're not a smart fellow. If you don't repay, you get the benefit. Now, it's killing the culture. What's important is adequacy and timeliness of the credit with low interest rate. For that, interest subsidies are available. So there is a way of helping farmers. We are helping exactly the wrong way to get short-term political gains. And the larger question is, unless there is a balance between short-term welfare measures and long-term economic growth, this country will be in deep danger. I plead with all political parties with great respect. I never abused political parties. I believe politics is a noble endeavor. I know they have a very difficult task and a thankless task of uniting society and addressing the aspirations of the poor. But there has to be some long-term responsibility. If you simply keep on borrowing for short-term, right now, Rajdeep, Indian states, all states, I'm giving you the average, and the specific states, they vary from state to state. If you take the salaries, pensions, and interest burden alone, without spending a rupee for the people, the average now is 120% of the own revenues of the states. And about 75% of the total revenues, including Government of India transfers. And that amount is going to increase within the next 15 years to 220% of the own revenues and about 120, 130% of the total revenues. We are getting into an unsustainable position. And on top of it, not only extraordinary, short-term welfare measures, tomorrow they can be withdrawn. After all, they go into the poor people, large number of them, small amounts per capita. You can withdraw them as poverty declines. Maybe you can actually reduce the burden on the exchequer. And any future government can restructure it, and you're anyway funding it today. But unfunded old pension system for 3% of the population, a settled issue 19 years ago by Vajpayee government and Manmohan Singh government. State after state, you offer to benefit 3% of the people at the cost of 97% with unfunded pension, with mounting pension burden, with what is called wage index linkage. And therefore, people who retired with 40,000 rupees salary are now getting 1,60,000 rupees. You want to perpetuate that and transfer the burden to the future and guarantee destruction of the states and the union.
Okay.
What kind of responsibility is that?
I think that's a
you
very
have to talk about that. You cannot simply allow the future of India to be completely destroyed, not even mortgaged, at the altar of temporary electoral gain. I understand the pain of politics. Some balance, for heaven's sake, some balance. That's all I'm pleading.
Okay, I think that's a sobering note for our three political representatives from the three parties of Kerala. Do not mortgage the future for short-term gains at election time. Rythu Bandhu, by all accounts, has been a beneficial scheme. It unfortunately excludes tenants and agriculture labor, and they too are the ones who really need the benefit at times of cash incomes. For now, I appreciate my guests joining me here on the news today.